morning, guys. It's Monday morning. Welcome back to the channel. Just gonna take my camera here and get it onto my car mount real quick. Bear with me. All right. Alright guys, now what I wanted to talk to you guys about in this video, just real quick, I'm actually on my way into town, heading in to get some lunch. And just for the record, I am still doing my fasting, guys. I'm actually, right now I'm getting ready to go into town to get lunch. I'm in the middle right now. I'm actually at the end of a 18-hour fasting window. So, I'm real hungry and looking forward to eat. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about real quick on my way into town is about how a couple of questions I've gotten recently have been about the same type of have pretty much all boiled down to the same thing, and it's something that I think is important, and that's, you know, how do I establish base pace? Like a lot of guys have asked me, said, well, how do you know that? Because I talk about base riding a lot, base pace. And a lot of guys are like, well, how do you know that you're in your base pace all the time? And for me, it's not, I don't really, when I'm out doing a base paced ride, I have some basic benchmarks of what power that is estimated wise, but the power is not needed. I can do a base ride with absolutely no power whatsoever and never go above my base. And basically all you gotta do is, you just need to make sure you're going at an intensity where you would never have to stop pedaling. Or never have to decrease your cadence because you were getting too fatigued. So, let's just say, you know, for example, I actually wish I had this scenario around me, but I don't. But let's just say you had access to like a 20-mile long climb, where you were just climbing for 20 miles straight. Which was a scenario I actually had when I was down in North Carolina a couple years ago. We were actually on like a 17-mile climb, which was really nice. But here locally where I live, anywhere near where I live, I don't have access to a 20-mile climb. But let's just say you had a 20-mile climb that took you 3 hours to go up. I'm just throwing out an example here. If you were riding that hill at base pace, okay, you should be able to start the hill. Let's just say, whatever gearing you were in that was keeping you at a base intensity, let's just say, and you were pedaling at 80 RPMs, you would be able to go the entire 20 miles, okay, and never have to lower your cadence, never have to shift your gears, and you would be able to talk to a buddy who was riding with you, or if you would be able to talk to that person and carry on a conversation for the entire 20 miles. You're riding at a base intensity. That's one area where I think a lot of guys make a tremendous mistake is, you know, on a day when they're supposed to be going a little bit easier, doing more of a base endurance type approach to the riding, they're going way, way, way too hard. And it ain't that they're going harder all the time, but, you know, they'll come to a little 1/10 of a mile kicker hill, or they'll come to just some little rise in the road, and they just punch the intensity a little bit just to get over the hill, but what you don't realize is that you do that 4, 10, 15, 20 times during the course of a 2-3 hour base ride, and now you've turned that basically into a higher intensity type ride. And in my opinion, it's setting you back for the next time that you want to go out there and truly hit things hard. So, and again, this just all gets back to the whole polarized approach. To me, I like that approach because it's basically bulletproof, and it's idiot-proof as long as you just go easy enough on your easier days. And that's the biggest mistake I see people making who try to do the polarized training, is they don't polarize things enough. They're riding too hard too often. And everybody has this mentality that I gotta do more, I gotta go faster, I gotta go harder to get gains. And there's days when that's the case. And when you're on those hard days, that should be your mentality. But it's hard to truly get into that mentality if you don't go easy enough on a base ride. So, on a base ride, guys, a lot of times I will actually, my Garmin has a feature where I can like scroll down and it'll like put like some like weather and battery status, and it'll just basically override my power numbers. A lot of times if I'm out base riding, I'll do that. I'll just scroll down that data screen where I can't even see what power I'm putting out on a base ride. I just want to ride base pace, whether it's 140 watts or 94 watts. I don't care. I'm base riding. So I'm just going at a pace where I would never have to stop pedaling at the current intensity. Whatever intensity you're currently pedaling at, you should be able to maintain that for the next 20 hours if you had to. You're base riding at this point. That's base pace. When you can basically maintain the current level of exertion for, in theory, forever. Now you're base riding. Once you up the intensity to an intensity where you would no longer be able to sustain that infinitely, you're not base riding. So that's the easiest way I can break it down, is you just need to be able to just think of it that you're on this 20-mile climb. And if you would ever have to downshift gears or lower your cadence, you're going too hard. So I hope that I hope you guys find this video informative. I hope that maybe helps explain to you a little bit more about what a base pace ride truly is. They're important rides. In fact, I mean, for me, it's the vast majority of my training. You know, I've had some people comment like, "Man, how do you take 25, 30, like the last couple of weeks, I've actually had a couple of weeks of vacation from work. I've had a lot of time to ride. I did like 31 and a half hours a couple of weeks ago. And I've had, you know, people are like, how can you ride 31 hours on a bicycle? Don't you get, you know, like super fatigued or overtired? And the answer is I really don't, because out of that 31 hours, probably 25 or more of that is I'm just base riding, you know? I'm going at an intensity I could kind of sustain, again, on paper, kind of forever, infinitely. So that's just my approach to things. That's how I handle a base ride. To me, it's very easy to do a base ride. You just ride it, and just think of it as you riding at an intensity that you can basically hold forever. If you can't do that, you're riding too hard. So, all right, guys, as always, I appreciate the support on the channel. Look forward to seeing you guys right back here in my next video.